Me is Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. I'm sorry that I was not here yesterday because yesterday was Mother's Day, and I wanted to tell all the mothers that we're celebrating Happy Mother's Day. And I wasn't able to because there was two earthquakes here in Costa Rica, and they were not serious in my neighborhood. Luckily enough, we didn't have any damage at all. But right after that happened, it seemed to have affected the atmosphere because it rained cats and dogs. I mean, it was so loud, I couldn't even hear myself talking on the camera. And I'm like, because the window was right there. And I could not hear. I mean, you could hear me talking, but all you could hear was this noise in the background. And the noise was louder than me. And I was like, wow. So I couldn't do this video yesterday, so I'm here to do it today. So thank you for being here with me. And without further ado, let's talk about how empaths can learn to control their abilities. Because the other day we did a video where I told you guys how to know if you were an empath. And many of you are, which I knew. I knew it. And many of you are empaths or you know empaths. And some people were like, I never even heard this information before. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about it. I wanted to give you a couple ways that you can control your abilities, because the people who did tell me they are empaths, a lot of you said that it's hellish because you're constantly being smacked around by your feelings and other people's feelings and emotions. And I wanted to tell you that although you will always feel your own feelings very deeply, you can compartmentalize them, you can control them as well, but you're going to feel them very deeply. However, today that's not what we're going to talk about. Today we're going to talk about keeping out other people's stank feelings and emotions and negative energy, okay? Because this is the biggest thing that messes empaths up. So first of all, check this out, right? You can, when you're using your ability unbeknownst to you, what's happening is that you're wide open. Your energy is wide open and you're taking in other people's bad energy. You're absorbing it. So a lot of times you'll go home with this yuck energy still, you'll still be feeling down, you'll still be feeling heavy, you might feel sad for no reason, you might feel angry for no reason. So one thing you can do as soon as you get home or as soon as you get someplace where you have these items is you can use a smudge or a sage or a frankincense and myrrh or a palo santo. You can use these as smudge. Like smudge is smoke. So basically you're setting these things on fire. Or you can use a spray. They have a spray that people use. They basically make it out of these ingredients. So for the sage is basically a spray made from sage. Or you can just burn sage. Everybody and their grandma knows what sage is. Sage is an herb used by the Native Americans. Most people use green or white sage when trying to cleanse energy. And it's a herb that the Native Americans used a lot in their ceremonies and their rituals. So now a lot of people around the world know about using sage and are using it. I see it online, I see it on TV, I see it everywhere. People are really getting into using sage. But sage is not the only thing you can use. There are lots of herbs that are cleansing herbs. Likewise, there's Palo Santo. Palo Santo isn't an herb, it's more of a tree. And Palo Santo you burn. And you've seen me use Palo Santo on this channel because it's native to Central and South America. So it's very easily accessible where I am now. Palo Santo is pretty much the same. You set it on fire and you use the smoke. The smoke cleanses that nasty, stank, bad energy that you've taken in from wherever you've taken it in at. A third way is to use frankincense and myrrh. Frankincense and myrrh resin is little rocks that you burn on coals. Now, the frankincense and myrrh resin is the strongest out of anything I've ever used. Frankincense and myrrh resin is what they use during exorcisms in the Catholic churches. So it's something that is used to chase out demons. And I've had to cleanse many houses, and I always used frankincense and myrrh because I didn't know what was in there, so we used that. So frankincense and myrrh resin is something that you can use when it's really bad, like demonic kind of energy, that kind, murderous kind of energy. That's when I use frankincense and myrrh. You can really use it at any given time if that's all you have. but I usually use it especially in those difficult cases. So you can use that, and they all come in sprays online. People, take the ingredients and make it in a spray. I've made sprays myself. You can make them yourself if you look for a recipe online. Put most people just buy it because it's not expensive. Another one people like to use is Florida water, another very common one, and you can use that. You can use that to wipe things down, wash energies, all kinds of stuff. Usually, what I do if I think I've taken in bad energy, I cleanse myself with water and then I burn one of these things. So that's one thing you can do to just get rid of whoever's icky energy you've taken in. Another thing you can do is you can use crystals. You can wear them. If you ever notice, I'm always wearing crystals, and everyone has some type of objective. For an empath, I would use a protection crystal, something that protected me from negative energy. Black obsidian, black onyx, black tourmaline, amethyst, garnet, tiger's eye, something like that, right? And depending upon what you need them for, you use different crystals. This one is to help me speak. This is sodalite. So it just depends on what you need it for. Likewise, you can use meditation. Out of all of these ways, meditation is the most important way because you must learn to control your mind to do the number 4 that I'm getting ready to tell you. You got to know how to control this. You got to know how to calm it. You got to know how to shut your thoughts off. You got to know to pull towards you what you want. You have to be in control of your mind. And meditation helps you do that. If you do meditation 5 minutes a day every day and build it up to 30 minutes, maybe even 60 minutes, you will be able to control your mind. Your mind will do what you want it to do on cue. Right now, your mind is probably undisciplined. You can discipline your mind. So number 4, which goes along with meditation, is knowing how to close yourself up. So number 4 is knowing how to close yourself up. You are wide open most of the time. Your pores are open. Your chakras are open. You're open. Unless you're the kind of person that walks around like this, Most of us are just kind of open. So as an empath being open like that, you're taking in whatever energy is coming from wherever it's coming from. But when you learn how to control your mind, you will know how to shut down, how to close all your chakras, how to close yourself off so whatever is outside of you is not penetrating you. So you shut everything down and then you use your mind to create a bubble around you, an energetic bubble. But you're not going to be able to even figure out how to do that if you can't control your mind. You have to shut yourself down and you have to surround yourself with one of these energy bubbles. White light, black light. I envision it as light, surrounding myself with a bubble of light. But you're not going to be able to do this kind of thing, which is really, in my opinion, the most helpful. Shutting yourself off from the energy is the most helpful way not to absorb it in the first place. So you don't need to burn anything. You don't need a crystal. If you learn how to shut yourself down, you don't need anything but yourself. So that's why I recommended meditation, because eventually you'll be able to shut off, you'll be able to shut everything in you that's open, that's taking in the vibrations, you'll be able to shut it, you see. So the meditation comes first because you have to learn that part. And then the bubble that I mentioned before, the energetic bubble, it's a meditation you do. You learn how to create this thought bubble. You create the energy with your mind. I mean, it's not like you're really creating it. You're more like pulling it towards you, because in your mind, you're visualizing this bubble around you and you're pulling source energy, goddess energy, angel energy to come towards you and surround you like a protective bubble, you see. And when you're able to energetically do that, because remember, you can sense energy, but you also can manipulate it. You can draw it to you. So you can draw good energy to help offset the bad energy. But all of this kind of stuff I'm talking about, you won't be able to do if your mind isn't disciplined, if your mind isn't sharp, you see? So think about that, guys. Think about that and, kick around and let me know what you think, and we'll talk more about it. Thank you for being here as always. And if you would like to get in touch with me, I'm going to leave all my information. If you would like to get a reading, that information will be there too. And as always, give me a thumbs up, pass this on to somebody else who can use it, and come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.